Well, 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 isn't it suspicious? I make a video about reprinting Sensu Bean, and then we'll see right here. Bam! Objection gets reprinted. Hey everyone, Egman here. We've got, so I felt like I was catching up yesterday with doing the Broly pack. I'm like, okay, I'm all caught up, and then as soon as I made and printed that video, I got to work, and then everyone's like, by the way, here's some other cards that Bandai just like out of nowhere decided they're going to talk about. So cool. Here we go with that. So we've got two things going on. There is the event pack 3, where they are reprinting a bunch of cards that aren't Sensubin, and then also they've got this Colossal Warfare kind of like, what do they name it? They name it like a Colossal Warfare boost, or I don't remember what it's something. But essentially they're doing like a sealed tournament for Colossal Warfare, and they're having these like booster packs, which has kind of cards that make the archetypes in that set stronger. So that's really cool. I think that's really cool actually. I'm a big fan of supporting older archetypes, and that's exactly what they're doing. So let's go through the cards in here. So Explore Bulma, I think this card's been seeing a lot of play with Shenron decks, so I think that's really cool. Just the fact that you can play it through Child's Wish, draw a card, untap 2 energy, and even mill cards if you need it off the top of your deck. That's really powerful. Next up, we've got Paranga's Dragon Balls. I really wish that it was the regular Dragon Balls, but it's Paranga's Dragon Balls, so whatever. It's a joke because they're the same card for no reason. Next up is Intensifying Power Trunks. When this card first got made, I was always like, why did this card get made? Red didn't need another, take a life 15k dude, and it didn't need to be Trunks to go into chain attack. But here they are, they're printing again, so that's cool. Frieza's Call, I think, is a very interesting choice. But yeah, there have been a lot of Frieza Clan, Frieza Army kind of more centric cards lately, so I think that's really important. Growing Evil Lifeform Cell, very obviously very important for the Cell decks, so very cool there. Haru Haru Attack of Margin, I think this is the one that untaps 4 energy. I'm going to say it is. Definitely good sideboard against yellow and green leaders. When they're in the meta, you always side these, and then you get just a bunch of value off it, so that's really good. Objection, which is not Sensu Bean, but that's okay. I'm actually really interested to see what this card looks hollow. They've done very little hollow rare cards, and they've never done like an event pack hollow card, so it'll be cool to see how they do that. Dimensional Banisher Fu, very good. Overwhelm card, just being able to pop something for 1 energy is super duper strong, and then having a 20-25k double strike. Well, okay. And then we've got Dark Power Black Messane. He just got released, so I'm very interested to see why they're already reprinting him. But there's that. And then lastly, a super rare card from Series 6, which we haven't seen a single Series 6 card, but that's very interesting that they're doing that. So cool cards there. I can't think of a single card I want more in there. Okay, so we've got also so these Colossal Warfare. I feel like they named it like a booster. Let's see. 5,000. Okay, it's just talking about Jordan Markle's achievements, so that's really cool. But anyway, so here are the cards, and so what they mentioned is that they wanted to promote diversity in the meta, and they wanted to support some older archetypes. And I've always been a fan of supporting older archetypes. It's not, and I don't know if it's like a really efficient way to be like, oh, look at this deck. It used to be really good, but it kind of got power crept. Let's give it like 1 or 2 more cards, and then people can play it again, right? And it really, people who liked playing, like, it really benefits older players, especially since they're probably keeping most of their old cards. At least I do. I'm a hoarder like that. So let's talk about it. So the first one is a Super Baby 1 Parasite Menace. So it's an EX Evolve for 1 red on a baby card with energy cost of 4. So you can get this out on turn 2. No. Yeah. So if you have like a baby out on turn 1, and then turn 2, you put the other 1-drop baby, use its Union Absorb to get the 4-drop baby out, and then you can EX evolve this for him. When a card evolves in this card, draw 1 card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with -5 power for duration of the turn, and you can't play another one of these. So this, the EX evolve actually isn't super strong, but the actual big thing is you can choose 1 baby with energy cost 6 from your hand and play on top for another red. So turn 3 you can get out the 6-drop baby if you do the chain correctly. So very cool there. That's really it's very scary in a lot of ways, but yeah, it really helped bridge the gap from getting the 4-drop off into the 6-drop, which I think was a really big hang up for that. And it's not like it's trading. It's not like it's a straight chain up. It just you have to. What is it? The balance is that you aren't using as much energy, but you have to have more cards, right? So it's a tempo versus energy and card thing. So it's not, I don't know. It's not, you don't get it for free, I guess is the main thing I'm trying to say. So next up is Hurrigan Premonition, of Evil. So it's a 7-drop blocker with 20k. When one of your other permanent, if you have one or more copies of both Tapion and Minosha cards in your drop area and a Phantom Demon card isn't in play, you can play this card without paying its energy cost. This gains -10 power for duration of the turn. I forgot. Let's see. What does the other Huragans do? So you just, okay, so it's strictly so you can EX evolve into this guy. When you play this card, choose one of your opponent's back cards up to 1 card in the hand, place it on the top of his deck. When your opponent attacks one of their cards, if your leader is trying to send this card, 1 card from your hand to negate the attack, and play this from your warp at the start of your next phase. So the idea is that, and what's this one do? Send to your warp, start your next phase. Okay. So the idea is that when you play this card, you're destroying 2 cards, and then once per turn you can negate the attack, and then if you do, you get to play this again, which means you get to play another. You get to activate this auto again to destroy 1 card in their hand and field. So it's just kind of more of like a hand control kind of play style. So I think that's really cool. And so what this guy gets to do is it gets -10k during your turn too, but it just means that on turn 4 you can immediately play this and then EX evolve, as long as you have Tapion and Minosha in your drop area. So I know a lot of Huragan players or decks are playing Minosha anyways, but that's just because of you get a +1 if you're playing Storm. But it'd be really interesting if people decide to actually play into the way Huragan is supposed to be played. Or not supposed to, but just like was originally intended to play. Next up is Piccolo Cunning Strategist, Auto Burst 3. I'm going to guess it has Universe 7, but they're not really clear about all the traits at the moment. When you play this card from your hand, choose one to Mecha Universe 7 card from your hand with an energy cost of 4 or less. Negate skill for duration of the turn and play it. For the duration of the turn. Ooh, okay. When I first started that, I thought it was duration of the game. So you can play some big boy, just get him out in the field. He doesn't do anything this turn, but the next turn you can do you can activate his auto or something. So that's really cool. That's yeah, and like even if it has like blocker barrier, then you can just that turns back on at the end of your turn. So during your opponent's turn, it's still a blocker barrier. So that's really cool. So you can play. I'm also going to assume it's green. Especially since we have it's one of each color, so red, blue, green. Oh, it even says it right there. Duh. But yeah, that's really cool. So if you have like the like this universe, what is it? The Kami's Power Piccolo, you can play this one, and then you get the other one out, and then it becomes a blocker barrier during your turn, and then back on on your opponent's turn and back on your turn, you can blow something up. So. Very cool card there. Next up, we've got my favorite card, Son Goku Path to Greatness. I've always played Swap the way it was quote-unquote meant to play, i.e. you swapped more than just the turn to energy cost 2 things. But so it's Barrier, Swap 8, Sparking 7, and it's 4 yellow. You swap into an energy of 8. So swap decks will actually have a hard time. More traditional swap decks will have a hard time getting swap 7 because you normally don't have a lot of cards in your drop area, just because most of them go back to your hand. But I think there is a lot of potential for this deck, especially if you're running like it with like the Frieza leader or something like that. Additionally, since you can get this guy into I know its name. Come on. The big old Goku. Hayden Mastery, duh. So since this has triple attack and dual attack, and also you can choose 3 of your opponent's battle cards or energy and switch into rest mode, that's already really good. And then a lot of people have been theory crafting of putting this in like a Shenron deck. And so the idea of being you just play this. So you always already have the sparking. You play this, you tap through their things, and then you give this additional triple attack. So you get attacked with this 4 times with triple strike. It's 45k just on turn 4, I guess, right? Turn 4 is the earliest you can do it. So very powerful there. I think it has a lot of merit, and I'd be interested to see how that goes. So I think it's really good, and they did a really good job giving this 19k power, because if this could get off Child's Wish, it'd be broken. So I'm happy they realized that getting this off Child's Wish would have bad things would have happened. So yeah, I think that card's really cool. Next up, or last up, is the encroaching. What does encroaching mean? Encroaching. Advance gradually beyond usual or acceptable limits. Oh, that's really cool. All right, now we know. Encroaching Darkness Demigra. So Overwhelm 4, Ultra Demigra in your hand with energy cost 7, gain Xeno Evolve 3. Demigra. When you play this card, you can't play non-black battle cards for duration of the turn, and your opponent can't attack with battle cards with original power of 10k or less for the duration or until the end of their next turn, which is a weird side note, but I think that's I don't know why they do that. I mean, like, I guess you can just overwhelm 4 on turn 1 and be like, hey, you can't attack with swap for a turn, so that's cool. But yeah, that seems really powerful for just defensive stuff to get, even if you're not Xeno evolving the 3. And then if we look at all the Demigra with energy cost 7, it's specifically 7, so you can't just do the secret rare. That'd be really good. Oh, so it's this one. I thought there was one more, but you get to do this one. Yeah, so you can get this guy out for 3 energy instead of the Dark Overwhelm 7 for 4, which I think is a bit harder. Especially even in like a dedicated Overwhelm deck, it's hard to have 7 cards in your drop area sometimes. So really cool there. And then when you get to play this, you get to just warp one of your opponent cards, and then also get another one of your battle cards with 4 or less. So that's a huge tempo swing, and I think you could even get another one, so you can do another 3. Wow! But yeah, I think that's really powerful, and it will be. I think people will be trying that out too. So in general, very impressed with these cards. I think they know that these are like really powerful for their archetypes, and I think just in general, like having these like boosted archetype, like kind of what's the word for it? Just retrains. I don't know. Is that the word? But anyways, the just being able to boost up these archetypes that generally aren't doing very well at the moment, and just because if these cards were in the pack on release, they'd be broken, but now that the meta's shifted and they've seen how these cards are being played, they're able to make these really powerful cards without having as much worry like, oh, is this going to dominate the meta or not, and stuff like that. So anyways, that's it for me, unless they like release more cards this morning and I don't realize until we get to work for a second day in a row, but I don't think that's going to happen. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.